Previously on Unbalanced Encounters. So Hogarth is kicking stuff over. He is not interested in any of the shiny things, and he's talking to himself constantly.
Marv is like, he's really excited. Like, as soon as he walked in the door, he was like, what do we have here? Then immediately started, like, junking books that he was like, oh, trash. This volume's garbage, poorly researched. And he's looking for the real good stuff.
Kind is a furbog, a very large and intimidating figure. And the reason why Kind is so stressed right now is because he told the pups he would find them an interesting gift. And for the love of anything, he cannot find anything that the pups would be interested in.
Gatton's got somebody in Mare Sanctorum would do him a favor. Says they've got an opportunity to smuggle something out if we could send a crew to go get it there. Should be an easy drop. All you gotta do is get in. Before the ships make landfall, you gotta get the valuable and get out. Straightforward. No problem.
So you say no problem. Every time, Bluebeard, you say no problem, there's usually problems.
Now, the three of you ought to get out of here right quick. Screaming, chaos, fires, burning, an explosion. They are not seeking to conquer, they are seeking to eradicate. Don't for a moment think I don't recognize those tattoos. I thought you were one of us, but you are trafficking in some dark acquaintances. And she sets the crate down.
Slowly, carefully, with the handle, I start to move the cloth aside.
You see a baby girl. Fight! Roll for bond! Backstory! Hello, one and all! And welcome to another very special piratey episode of Unbalanced Encounters. We are playing Rapscallion again today with Cinderblocksally, Craig Pate, and Ibraheem. You know him as Cosmic Ebe on TikTok. In our last episode, we met our three heroes, Marv, Kind, and Hoagie, as well as their ship, the Lord Bethany, when they were tasked with collecting something for their captain, taking advantage of the fall of Mare Sanctorum at the hands of the Kawa Navy. But yeah, let's go ahead, and before we begin this session, let's go ahead and do what we ought to have done at the end of last session, which is the session kind of epilogue questions, because this is a way that you gain experience. And something else that we forgot to do last episode that you guys should, if you can kind of get your head around, you should go back and do. You gain an experience every time you fail a roll. So for every miss, you mark an experience.
So
I'll trust you.
Right
I will trust you. I will trust you on these. If you guys want to go back and add experience for that, but then you also potentially get some experience for the end of the session. So let's take a minute here.
Patrick, it's awesome because I definitely marked down every time I failed.
Good, well done.
Yeah, because it got ridiculous. I had 3 in a row, and then I was like, all right, I'm just going to start marking these down.
You get experience for all of them, so you probably are going to level up.
I'm at 4 right now.
Really? You're probably gonna level up.
I'm at 1. Okay, wait, do you get experience when you get a? I don't think I failed one at all yet.
You might not.
You passed every single one.
I don't think I rolled lower than a 6, including bonuses yet.
To be fair, I think Hoagie pretty much just did Spitfire stuff.
Well, the 6 is a fail, right?
Yes,
yeah.
6 is fail.
No, I have 0 experience. Everything I rolled was a 7 or higher.
You can check
so far.
a wall if you're using the dice roller.
Yeah, if you're using the dice roller. All right, so at chapter's end, we go around and we ask some questions. I ask the group if you defeated an important foe, claimed a great treasure, or accomplished one of your character's goals.
Now, does running away count as defeating?
I'd argue probably no, considering that you could theoretically still be pursued.
Well, then I don't think we get XP for either.
Well, I mean, claim the
treasure.
treasure.
We claim the great treasure.
Each of us got a treasure.
The greatest treasure of all.
Well,
A child.
A child.
A child, as we look into the camera.
Yeah, as we all turn.
So yeah, I think everybody can go ahead and mark 1 additional experience, take 2 luck, and heal up to 2 harm.
Drown in luck.
Now that we have done that, we will discuss the greatest treasure of all, a child, which is where we rejoin Marv.
Oh my gods. And I'm going to lift the child up, taking the knife for they were holding on to like the handle of it. I'll try to take that gently from their hand and throw that aside.
I actually think that you struggle with that for like a second, because this child is locked onto this thing, and you see that she has this just look on her face of wide-eyed wonder. What is this magical device? What is this bizarre place? Where am I? And what can I do with that information? Is just flitting across her eyes.
Yeah. Oh, let me have that. I'll just take this here. Oh, here. I have what do I have? I'll take a blank scroll, I guess, from my pack, and try to like replace that Lost Crusade style, I guess.
She grabs it and pulls it sort of away from you, and I think she starts kind of gnawing on the edges of the scroll, and then eventually figures out that she can open it and starts to kind of unravel it a little bit, holding it back and up toward the light that we can see slice down from the deck above.
I'm going to sort of like gather the child in my arms, watching the nails that I had just bent over from the top of the crate, and just like, oh, let's just get you out of there. I need some help down here. Everyone come below decks, please, now.
Yeah, 1 sec. I'm looking for Aiden. He must have been thrown up or something.
Oh, this can't wait.
Hoagie enters the room and sees the crate open, looks up to Marv. Kind?
Yeah, all right. Jeez. All right, guys, what's all the hubbub? What's going on there? Oh,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
This...
and he takes her from
she was in the crate. She was just in the crate.
She was in there.
Was that it?
I don't see anything. I'll like move aside. Like, is there like some packing material and like stuff left in the crate? I imagine I took her out with the blanket or canvas.
Yeah, absolutely. You do actually find something that sort of falls out of the cloth that she's wrapped in and tumbles into the slats of the crate. You reach down, you pick it up, and it is just the thinnest silver band that connects to a teardrop-shaped sapphire.
It was the child and this.
She goes from trying to grab and like tug on Kind's whiskers to reaching for the bracelet, just like.
I'll sort of like fix it around her wrist, like just making sure that it's like as tightly connected as is comfortable, but also not swallowable.
She kind of takes her own wrist in hand and just begins to start tugging and playing and swirling it around.
What was she doing in a crate?
Can a baby survive in a crate? Like, are we sure it's a baby?
A baby can survive in a crate, but how long has she been in here? Did that woman put her in?
She doesn't look hurt.
What does the captain want with a baby? He's never offered to sit for my kids once, and now he just...
I didn't think he liked kids.
She affixes when you say he's never offered to sit for your kids, she affixes you with just like the most troublingly indignant expression. There's like a beat where you actually find yourself questioning, did she understand what I meant and is somehow sympathized? And then her face contorts again and she's just happy to be here, right? She's just in a good explorative mood.
He's just bouncing her, just instinctually goes into dad mode with her, so.
Yeah.
The bracelet also, it matches the sapphire.
The Sisters of the Sapphire Sun.
Are you sister? Yeah? You a sister?
Do the sisters just have children and then they just raise them in the... I thought it was more of a... You had to like choose to go into that line of work, not you're born with sapphire eyes.
Why would they put a baby in a crate?
It's the delivery system. It's kind of a story I told my daughters about how they were made and everything.
Yeah, but that's not real, kind. That's...
No, it's not. Yeah.
Of course, the stevedore. We all know about the stevedore who delivers babies into port.
Thank you again, Marv. That was quick on your feet when you made that. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's no problem. No trouble at all. It's actually quite the common story. Not the point.
She's actively sort of reaching out for Hoagie, and I think just sort of like trying to grab at some of the smoke that is still trailing from under his robes.
Hoagie is going to step back. Balm is going to reach out, and in her mind, Balm is going to say, Well. Aren't you just a curious little cutie? What are you?
She looks around, trying to find where this voice is coming from. I mean, she's a baby, right? She's not going to respond.
I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
No,
maybe the baby can respond in her mind.
Balm does not get a verbal response. I think Balm gets interest and curiosity and all the things that you can very clearly read on her face.
Hoagie will look to the others. Balm has no idea what she is either. It seems like she's just a baby, but
Examining the baby closer, would Marv be able to sort of determine like anything about her potential background? Are sapphire eyes uncommon?
You are certainly welcome to roll if you have a move that you think is useful here, but I think you've said aloud all of the things that you would know from what we've discussed so far.
Okay. Looking to the pendant, I believe it's not ridiculous to say that might be like a symbol of the Sisters of the Sapphire Sun, but is there anything more that I could read into about that?
Are you going to roll your lore keeper move?
I think maybe, but I don't know if that really applies. It's new land, creature, or phenomena. Do you think it's a phenomena?
I mean, a baby in a crate. Also, a baby in a crate is kind of a phenomenon, you know?
A crate baby is a phenomenon.
Yep. She is literally a new creature.
Oh, that's funny. She's a new creature, but she's also a new creature because she's a baby. I get it.
We got there, guys.
So that's plus vinegar. That's 7 plus 2, 9. Okay, on a hit, the fates tell you a story about it. On a 10 plus, I get to choose whether the story reveals one of these options.
Got it. Okay. So you get a story about this. Were Marv's parents, or whomever sort of brought Marv up, story keepers like Marv?
I don't think they were. I think Marv was born to a very like unassuming fishing family in a port town. And from a young age, he was sort of like pressed into, well, stories are nice. Being lettered is nice because you can do your figures and you can figure out if someone's trying to cheat you at the port. But it was this very like utilitarian thing for them. Yeah. And I think he often got lectured by his mother for like spending too much time with his nose buried in books and worried about the past when the future was, or the present was far more pressing.
And I think that's the backdrop against which, when you first started your journey and you would hear stories of other story keepers and other people who understand the bond, there would occasionally be a little glint of, maybe it was jealousy, maybe it was simply the acknowledgement that you were not afforded this privilege. But the Sisters of the Sapphire Sun are a political order. You know that to perceive the bonds that tie the world together takes a bit of a gift. And there are many ways to arrive at that gift. But it always helps to have a parent versed in its observations. And so maybe the sisterhood might take special precautions for one of their own.
I think I'm just going to looking at the girl who's, I think, still reaching out for Hoagie. Just going to look around to Hoagie and Kind and say, I have no idea where this girl has come from, but someone has gone to great lengths to make sure that she left that place.
I guess the only thing left to do is to make sure that she gets to where she needs to go. Safely, right? Safely?
As safely as we can. Where is Aiden? He was supposed to be back with water ages ago.
Yeah, he was taking care. Hoagie, you feeling better? I know that was a rough exit.
I'm still a little crisp around the larynx, but I don't know. We lost him in the fog of the escape. I haven't seen him since we hightailed it out of there.
Hoagie, I'm going to ask you to roll Hoodwinked, please.
That is an 8.
On an 8, the deception is more fleeting than you would like, or it works too well. I think this has two different effects. I think for Marv and for Kind, it works. It works a little too well, and you see anxiety sort of set into their features. If they lost him, did the pursuers get him? I mean, Aiden was a greenhorn, but was he that careless to simply go over? We should figure out what's happening. In your own head, Hoagie, it's the other direction, and the mixed success of the hoodwink works, but only fleetingly. You believe what you say when you say it, and then a moment or two later start to realize that there is a piece of that puzzle that you have not wrestled with yet.
So I kind of find myself in the truth afterwards.
Oof.
Okay.
Well, once we take care of her, get her to a safe place, we obviously need to figure out how to maybe go back and get him, but there's a lot going on. Oh, she smells now. All right, I assume I'm the one that has to deal with this. Yeah.
We'll take turns if it's easier on you. I know you've already had to do this. When you had to do this for all three of your kids, that was enough for a lifetime.
It's like a flashback of sorts down memory lane. But one at a time is a lot simpler. But yeah, I'll deal with this. You want some? Oh God, what food do we have?
We could soak some oats.
Yeah, thank you, Marv. You're the greatest. Oh, and he goes to change the. What is your name? And he's gonna look at anything on her.
Nothing distinguishing.
All right, Marv. I've already named 3, so this is you. You found her.
Is that how that works?
That's exactly how it
Finders
works.
namers?
Finders namers.
It might be a bit on the nose, but Saphira?
All right, Saphira. You smell, and we're going to fix that.
And we are going to move on to a little bit of downtime before you all arrive at your destination. You are at sea. You all have a little bit of time to choose something to do. Your options for downtime moves are gamble, carouse, get the scoop, tinker, and perform a ritual. I am striking make dubious friends because there's no one on the ship but you.
What does it mean to do a ritual? Like, what would that mean?
When you have something strange and you want to perform a ritual on it, or with it during downtime, roll plus Spitfire. Take +1 for every true thing. You're familiar with the ritual. You sacrifice something strange. You mark trouble to see it through. On a hit, the ritual accomplishes its goal. And then there's some costs, some mixed success fuckery. Basically, the ritual is whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. It's big magic, effectively. What are you trying to do that takes more than 30 seconds to cast? And I will say that you do, in fact, have something strange on your person. You have the scepter, retrieved from Sir Reginald Turpin Neeming Laylord's house.
Yeah, I'm just going to call him Turpin. Okay, that's what I'll do. I will perform a ritual with Balm to try to decipher what the scepter does, and how to use it, potentially.
Okay. So you take a +1 for every true thing. You're not familiar with it, so you don't get a +1 for that. You can choose to sacrifice something strange, and you could mark trouble to see it through.
Then I'm not going to do any of those. I'm just going to roll regular. 4 + 4 plus Spitfire, I think, right?
Yeah, plus Spitfire.
All right, so that's 4 + 4 + 2, so that's a 10.
That's a 10. That is a complete success. On a 10+, the ritual goes as planned. However, you choose one of the following. The ritual's effect is not quite as planned, or you must sacrifice something important, or you are cursed or changed in the process.
Let's go with I'm cursed or changed in the process.
Ooh, that's very good. This scepter, encrusted in rubies, basket woven and ornate, starts to glow as you begin the ritual. What does the ritual look like?
I think that I have a little wooden stand that I have carved. It's not particularly nice. And I place it at the center of my room, and I take Balm's little incense holder, and I place it on that stand, and I open the incense holder, and I let Balm out into the room, and then it sort of just like fills with this smoke to the point where it's like hard to see in the room, and I sit in that smoke, and I am allowing Balm more presence in the space so that they can help guide me in us understanding something together. And it is not a lot of performance or magic words. That's not really how Hoagie's relationship with Balm works. It is much more one of just sort of ordinary conversation and presence.
Yeah.
And I basically lay the scepter out, and I ask Balm to enter it, to understand it, and to come back and emerge with knowledge of what it is and how to wield it.
What Balm learns is first and foremost that Sir Reginald Turpin Neeming Laylord had no fucking clue what he had. You understand this to be a symbol of office. It was in his painting. It seems like it is just a thing that was given to him to demonstrate his political superiority. Balm learns that that's not the case. That this is an ancient scepter, crafted with the magics of a god that is just starting to be forgotten. It is the scepter of the golden. And you see that it starts to shine, and I think that you reach out to sort of tap it. Would you please pick one of your 10 fingers for me?
Let's do pointer finger, left hand.
Ting! Your pointer finger calcifies into solid gold.
Ooh. That's... I tap it on the floor. I'm gonna take some cloth. I'm gonna wrap it around that hand. And then I'm going to pick up the scepter so I'm not actually touching it.
The cloth immediately solidifies into gold. And you see that these gemstones are sort of glowing in the course of Balm investigating this thing and performing this ritual. It seems as if, at least for the moment, you have activated this scepter.
If I touch the golden rags that are now around it, can I hold it?
Yeah.
I'm going to touch it to a book that Marv let me borrow.
You see that the gold begins to encrust this thing, and then Balm kind of jukes and pulls back. And you see that whatever connection that had been established there falters, and there's a kind of a pop sound. And the scepter dims, the gold encrusting stops, and Balm recoils a bit.
Okay, just put that away. All right, Balm, thank you. And I'll sort of help gather Balm back into the incense censer, and I'll pick it up. So just for clarification, how does this work? What is this?
Yeah. So the idea here is that this scepter apparently can turn things to gold. And as far as you can tell, you have to be channeling magic through it in order to do it, right? Like the identification ritual that you underwent here involved activating it to figure out what it was, which is a thing that you have to do, right? Like this is a magical item, and in the course of this in the course of Rapscallion, you do that by rolling Spitfire, right?
Okay.
Like you have to actually push your magic through it in order to make it happen.
So in order to use it, it's not so much like a resource I'll spend. It will be a Spitfire roll to use it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. This is now something that you have access to under Unleash a Mysterious Power. You can now turn shit to gold.
Okay, well that will make a lot of things interesting later. Thank you very much, Balm. Let's keep this to ourselves for now. By the way, I know what you did. It wasn't right. Well, what do you think? I'm gonna do everything right all the time. Come on, it was funny. That guy was a dick. Maybe, but I don't know what the others will think if they find out what happened. Oh, nobody's gonna tell. Okay.
And with that, we are going to jump to our next downtime roll. Who else has a downtime move that they'd like to use?
I think I'll write a book during downtime.
Okay.
I think what Marv has been doing, in between, like I feel like he's like set up a bunch of pots that are like soaking oats for the child, and he's like, this is what we got. We got oats, we got bread, we got some dried whatever. So he set those up, but I think what he's doing with his time is trying to translate and like more fully understand the history that he obtained, and sort of like referencing it into a tome that he is writing. He is trying to complete his collection of the oral histories of the land of Ostilla, and he is incorporating what he finds in this particular book directly into his own, referencing it, of course, appropriately.
This is a process that for Marv is a little academic and a little magical. I'm going to give you the option here of performing a ritual or tinkering.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I think this is tinkering. He's got like all of his various inks and brushes out as he like translates some things literally and then draws symbols of some runes just for reference in case somebody wants to interpret them differently. Yeah. 10 plus vinegar, 12.
All right, on a full hit, you create an object with 3 tags. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tags. You will obviously get to choose here, but I am going to make a recommendation because I think that at this point, This represents a large missing portion of your work, right? You exist in a time long removed from the existence of the old empire and in the throes of the new empire seeking to destroy as much of that legacy as is humanly possible. And so I think that this has been hard information to come by, and while your tome might not necessarily be finished, because, hey, when is a book actually finished? This represents a missing piece that allows it to be complete in an interesting way for you. And so my recommendation for this book, I think that it should have strange, which allows you to perform magic rituals with it. I certainly think that it should have tome. Would make a tremendous amount of sense. I think the last one that it should maybe have is dangerous.
I like those tags. I don't have any notes for those. I think those are just good. There is one thing I do need to add, though. When I write a book during downtime, because I have wordsmith, you know what the book is about. I need to tell you what the book is about and what I want the book to do. And you choose a quest that I have to complete before finishing it.
What do you want the book to do?
I think what I want this book to do is to offer a window into the past for the people of Astilla. I want this to be a beacon of like light and connection to a shared history that has been all but eradicated.
I think that the quest that you need to do, that you just know is the final step to this, is you need to put it somewhere where people can be made aware of it. And I don't think you know where that is yet. And I'm not sure that you know what that means yet. But a story, a tome that acts as a beacon to those who wish to understand the paths of those who came before them, can't just live in your reading room on the Lord Bethany. So I think that's your quest. All right, we are going to go ahead and go to Kind. Kind, what is your downtime roll, please?
I think Kind, being distracted mainly by Saphira, he would try and get the scoop on the individual that was tailing them. Or at least
okay.
When Marv said they're controlling it, talking about the actual fog, like that's an issue that he would like to figure out. Man.
Yep, go ahead and roll me a plus vinegar, please.
Oh, that's a sweet 3.
Incredible. So go ahead and mark experience. You're going to level up, which is really what you spent your downtime doing.
I spent my downtime leveling up.
You can take a trouble here to push through and get an answer to a question if you want, and I get to tell you what trouble it is.
It's actually with my class. I have to do it in an order.
Oh, that's right. You have to do it in. So you can take a trouble to get an answer to a question, or you can just let this go with just the failure. There's no real consequence to not succeeding here.
I have a story thing that kind of goes with the trouble and the way that I would do this.
Push it through.
All right, I'll push it through and take the trouble. What do the locals know about this individual or possibly the ship?
Funnily enough, I think that you spend a fair amount of time in the reading room, coming up fully fucking empty. I'm curious as to how you feel like the trouble fits in here, because I want to make sure that I work with that.
So he's got Saphira in a sling at this point, just wrapped around 100%. Him. And he's just like, oh, this. I don't know how Marv does this. There's just so many books and none of them have answers. This is ridiculous. Getting frustrated, and the trouble is rash, which is compelled to rush in recklessly and thoughtlessly. At the same time, with my new level up, I get to pick a new playbook move. And the playbook move that I'm going to pick is Friends with Mermaids. You are friends with all sea creatures you can speak with and be understood by them. When you submerge yourself fully in water, you can unleash power to either summon servants of the sea. And so what happens is, Marv, I have an idea. Hold her.
Okay.
Okay.
I was
Runs
okay.
straight up to to the poop deck, and then just jumps into the ocean.
I'm worried.
Kind. You push yourself deep beneath the waves, the light going blue and hazy. Darkness out in all directions, the open ocean. Not a great place to be. You're holding your breath and feeling your heartbeat, trying to reach out. To the God that you know. And you feel the tattoo on your body thrum with the runic energy. And as your vision starts to rapid fire in that space of stumbling dream before you enter unconsciousness, flashes of your girls, flashes of home, flashes of Saphira. You finally snap your eyes open and a wave rushes over you. From beneath you, a whale shark. Incomprehensibly large, at first just a mouth, a hole, a bottomless pit for you to descend into that closes and banks agilely, too agilely for how big this thing is, and you are staring into an eye, beady for the size of this head, but still as big as yours. What's up?
Hey, mate. God dang it, Pat.
This is fucking Pauly Shore. What's going on here? Why is Pauly Shore in the sea?
It's been a long time.
You got questions, brother? We got answers, maybe.
Yeah, there's a bloke who seemed pretty mysterious, could control the weather. Oh, big angry ship, lots of cannons. Got any information on him sailing across the seas?
He's been sailing these waters for some time, my friend. Coming from the south, I think. Headed to the east. But not anymore. Now he's headed this way. Coming for you, seems like.
Alright. Do you know of any safe place, any weaknesses for this guy, or any direction we should go?
You trying to avoid him, huh?
I mean, you see what we're working with. We don't really have a galleon to face off with him.
Beauty ship, brother. Get away fast. Not so good in a fight. Huh?
Yeah. We make better exits than battles.
Me too, if I be honest with you. There's a safe place. You're headed there already. Now get ahead. Let the god know you're coming, and that he should put up a barrier for you. Keep that odd one out.
Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Anytime, friend. Now you best be getting up. Ain't got gills like the rest of us, huh?
I think that's when he realizes, oh yeah, I've been using my mind to speak for the most part, and I can't breathe.
When a hail of bubbles breach the surface, And I'm curious who amongst the crew is desperately trying to pull Kind out of the water right now.
I mean, I don't think either of us are immediately.
Just jump
Like,
up excitedly.
I was holding a baby, so I think I'm like looking at you like.
I'm sitting in a sauna in my room.
You have a sauna? Damn.
Oh, I've really missed Aiden. Can one of you throw me a rope?
Oh, yes, I can. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
I should have asked about Aiden. I'm the worst.
Oh, damn. Okay, I'll toss you one of the rigging lines.
You grab the rope, slowly manage to haul yourself back onto the deck. And yeah, go ahead.
I have one last thing that happened
Sure.
when I leveled up.
Yeah.
I gained a bond with someone, and I will say that I gained that bond spending this small amount of time with yet another child, Saphira.
Saphira.
Cool.
Amazing. That's really good.
What's
I
one
love
more?
that. I
We
love
already
that
have
more.
3.
As you get on deck, you all see a storm begin behind you. And I think you watch it for a little while because obviously that could potentially be very concerning if you're going to be in a squall. But it never gets any closer. In fact, it seems to be getting further, but not as if it's moving. You're just moving away from it. It seems to be still. And I think over time you all piece together that it has whipped up in a huge hurricane surrounding the mysterious and uncharted island that you all scarpered off to at the end of the last session. And you see land.
Land ho.
Land ho.
That was probably, in the history of people who have done pirate media, the saddest, most understated
No,
land ho.
it was so good. That I was very Marv.
Yes, very much.
Is this island on any of your maps, Marv?
It is not. Would you like to do the honors?
I'm gonna hold up my left hand, and you can see that one of my fingers is now made of gold. My writing hand's not so good anymore, but I could try doing it right-handed if we must.
Yeah, I'll just give you the little pot of ink if you just want to dab it on there.
Just put a little dot.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll dip my gold finger in the ink. Because once I realize I don't have to write anything, I think that's fine.
There. And you dab it on the map. And you all see crystalline white beaches, lush, verdant palms. And at the center, a spire. One solid plinth of brilliant white limestone, towering into the sky, piercing the clouds, an exterior staircase winding the entire way around, and at every conceivable level between its invisible top and its wide base that consumes the majority of this island. Birds of every size and shape and conceivable disposition, taking to wing, riding thermals, hunting, spending their entire lives aloft. Kind, you've never been here. But you, and only you, know where this place is. This is the island of the Blusterer, a god that owes you a favor.
I got a feeling that we might be coming up on some good luck, fellas, and may be able to have the landlord of this island help us out a bit.
Sounds like a wonderful turn of fortune for us.
Yeah, we earned it. We earned it. Yeah.
No one's going to question the weird little hurricane around the island thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I talked to a buddy down in the depths. No worries. We'll be safe here.
What do you mean you talked to a buddy down in the depths?
I thought you were taking a bath.
Who bathes in salt water?
Your friend is powerful.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you respect the gods, and they'll respect you back.
I'm sorry, are we just gonna let that lie? You're friends with a god?
Well,
Just casually?
When you chill like that, I guess he just chill and he likes having friends. So yeah.
Fair enough.
If anyone wants, they could probably roll size up on that hurricane.
I'll roll size up on that hurricane for sure.
I feel like you're the one who's the most sus about it.
I'm super sus. I'm sus about everything magic because all the only magic I know is magic at a price.
Yeah.
I'm literally going off of what the god told me, so that's
Yeah.
That is a 7 minus something, so it's a failure.
Oh, all right. Go ahead and mark experience.
On 1 through 7, hold 1. You may hold additional 1 if you shouldn't. While you're in the situation, hold 1. Blah 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 blah.
So on a failure, I just get to do one of my moves, and what I am going to do is foreshadow trouble. Hoagie, as you are pulling away from this hurricane and you make your comment, isn't anyone else worried about it? You see thunder, rumble, lightning, flash, and the silhouette of something. Something in that hurricane. You're not sure exactly what.
Okay. Well, if you say the hurricane's not something to be worried about, kind, I'll take your word for it. And I'm gonna hold up my hand again. All magic that I've experienced comes at a bit of a price. And ding, 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 ding.
Safina grabs for that finger.
No, I don't like children. I don't even think you are a child. Pull my finger away.
She starts crying.
Oh. Come now. You can hardly feel it.
Are you talking to me, or are you talking
To you.
Give up your finger.
Let the babe.
Very reluctantly, he's going to hold his hand up and let the thing that he's not sure if is a baby hold his finger.
She takes it and immediately starts like teething on it.
I got my eye on you, mysterious one.
You have given this child such suspicion.
She seems very enamored with the idea that you are fixated on her. That's something that she appreciates.
You call it a child, but it was in a crate, and it was fine.
Children have been in crates since ancient times. It's...
Are you sure about that, hotshot?
Here, I'll find a story that says so, and I'll just, make a show of flipping through.
I'm going back into my sensor.
It's one of the best ways to transport a child. A crate.
She's not so bad. It's weird, though.
We should get ready for land, yeah?
Yes, I suppose we should.
You all make landfall. And I think as soon as you do, you all hear in your head, "Huh? Company? I wasn't expecting company. All right, well, you're here now. I guess it would be difficult to send you away. Feel free to make yourselves at home. I'm in the top floor."
Oh, did you all hear that in your heads as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you get closer to this island, you realize that it is really just a tiny little outcropping of land that seems to be a platform upon which this spire has been erected. And the spire, while a little inscrutable from far away, is now recognizable as a tower, right? And I think it has that wizard's tower energy, right? It's like gleaming white limestone brick that spirals up and up and up and up and up. And it is recognizable as a building in which people probably live, or something adjacent to people.
Just tie the boat up real good, I suppose, once we land.
You guys can drop anchor, and it seems like this place is extremely secluded. There is no other evidence of anyone else making landfall here, and it seems that whatever runs this island was not expecting anyone, and doesn't exactly like company.
I have baby question.
Yeah.
Are we walking? Are we crawling? What's happening?
She's probably around 1.
Okay.
I think walking would be not realistic. Crawling probably, but not in a way that you could like set her down and have her follow you. I think you do see her if you guys are kind of making landfall. I think you do see her like try to get on her feet and like charge off onto the beach, and it's just like foot sand, non-stable surface, just like down in like full somersault, just like
Yep, all right, we tried. Come on. Then he'll put her back in the sling.
Whatever is on this island, if it can do that, the only thing I know that can do that is balm, and balm's not super nice. And I mean, it's nice to us sometimes, but we should just be careful. Yeah.
Well, no, well, Big Blue told me that there was a god here that could talk to us, help us out.
I thought I was the hectic one. Oh, kind. Just in case, because it is going to get dangerous, and Hoagie's going to put one hand in preemptively in front of Saf to prevent her from grabbing at things.
She's going to try.
That's fine. I'm an adult human man. I can hold the baby back.
I'm a full-grown adult.
And with one arm, I'm gonna let her play with my gold finger, to distract her. And then with the other hand, I'm going to pull the ruby blade out, and I'm gonna give it to Kind. I found this.
Well, that's nice.
Seems
very
more
sharp.
Your order of things. It's quite powerful.
To harm fire are the tags on that blade.
To harm fire.
Found it in an old wizard's vault.
Technically, you found it in an old wizard's umbrella stand.
Yes, a vault.
Man, I tell a lot of lies. My character is not truthful often.
You had time to break into a vault. That's incredible. We were only apart for minutes.
My skills are undeniable. You've only seen an ounce of my power. No, I'm just kidding. It's nothing to worry about. It's fine. Just take it, use it. We'll stab things with it if we need to. Hopefully we don't.
Indeed, should go well with my chains. Awesome. So let's introduce ourselves and be very respectful to a god that can speak in our heads.
Are you all going up?
Yeah. Is there a door?
There is. And you enter, and you see, again, more shining white limestone, light pouring in from windows the entire way up. Everything a beautiful, polished teak. Chairs and tables, bookshelves. As a matter of fact, you see that there are a set of bookshelves that run underneath the spiral stairs that go the entire way up. And so you're always at about head height with a bookshelf that's under the next rung of stairs.
Marvelous.
You see that there are, at different levels, there are some rooms that go off of this staircase, but you can see all the way up to a porthole that is taller, further away from you than you could see when you were outside, because there was just a marine layer of cloud, right? You couldn't see past the clouds. And so, but now you can see in and through, and you can see sky quarter mile away, right? Like very high up into the air.
I'll fuck about and look for some victuals.
Okay.
Some non-ship food.
You guys find a kitchen, like just on the ground floor before you even take to the stairs. And there is a whole roast hog, honey glazed, stuffed with chilies and apples. There's a pot of okra that has been simmering. There are all manner of breads and cakes and pastries. You see a little pile of little pyramid of pastiche de nata, those little Portuguese egg tarts. Little brulee on the top of those. Just like food from the stories that you would tell each other at sea to piss each other off because you don't have access to good food, right? This is exceptional.
This is too good to be true.
Bite into one of the pastiche de nata.
It's fucking good.
Oh, thank God. And he just starts scarfing.
Okay.
Can the child eat custard? Is custard safe? I don't.
These things are durable, Marv.
I wasn't aware. I suppose I always thought of them as more delicate than they
and
are.
at this point, you also notice she's no longer attached to Kine and just wandering around because at this point, what you've taken care of or gotten your first set of kids going, you're like, the rest will be fine.
Yeah. You understand how like they're built Tonka tough.
Yes, very durable individuals.
You all are partaking? Is anyone abstaining?
I gotta feed the kid too.
I'm gonna watch them eat for about a minute.
Okay.
And if nothing weird happens, then I will eat.
Nothing weird happens within that minute, and you tuck in and you all enjoy what might be the best meal in a very, very long time. Kind. You wake up and you see through the bleary-eyed blinking Hoagie passed out onto his plate. Marv just head back. Saphira swaddled across his chest, just head down, quietly murmuring and asleep. And then you see a crow's head. Or more specifically, a crow's skull. Hey! Come on. And you get smacked upside the head by a large, feathery wing. Wake up!
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Come on. Up. Come on.
I'm up, friend. We've been at sea a while. Just neither over us.
Sure. Hey, listen, I don't know what's gonna happen with y'all eating that food. I've never had a mortal eat any of it. You might want to get that checked out by your physician.
That's unpleasant. Hello. My name is Kind.
I know who you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us some time to rest.
Yeah, well, I owe you one, don't I? And he reaches down and grabs your hand with this bony claw that like rips out of the end of his wing. And he kind of gives you a handshake and simultaneously pulls you to your feet. You're going to be wanting to know my name. This is always such a process. And he rakes that claw through this crazy red hair that's like growing out of the skull. Aklanekthar Cthulhu Cthulhu. Call me whatever you want. And he turns. Says, you can let them sleep if you want, but I need somebody to see this. This is not great.
You watch as one moment just pulls the child out.
Oh, the child. Yeah, all right, fine. Probably good to not leave her unattended. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, come on. And he reaches out and he grabs you by your shoulder and pulls you to the center of the tower and hooks a wing up around your waist and just... And the three of you go spiraling through the air all the way to the top. And then he kind of flutters there for a second and lands, sets you down. And you find yourself inside of some kind of observatory. There is a domed glass ceiling with all manner of triangulatory devices spinning in orbit, moving through the space, tracking constellations and the moon, weather patterns through this dome. And the dome is made of glass, so you can see up into the night sky, and you can see that some of these things like align with the real position of now the moon, some of the stars. But you can see something else reflected in this glass. It's gridded in a way that reminds you of lines of longitude and latitude, the surface of a globe. And on the inside panel of the glass, you can see things move, indicators. Almost iconographic in nature. A little set of ships hovering around the east coast of Astilla. A hurricane spread out from the central point, which appears to be this island. Wrapped around to the other side, you see other ships moving. fog clouds billowing through at unnatural velocities. One ship in particular that seems to have hit the edge of the hurricane and is waiting. That's the one.
Oh yeah, they seem to be looking for this little one.
Huh. I was hoping they were friends of yours.
I mean, acquaintances. Didn't really get to chat.
Huh. What do they want with the kid?
Bob's your uncle. I don't know. But I'm just supposed to be moving a package.
The kid?
Yes. He's in a crate.
Huh. I knew mortals were getting up to some screwy things. That one's a new one on me. Well, you all have about probably 20 minutes before I lose control of this thing.
Yeah? I mean, I'd really like for my friend Marv to come up here and get a look at this place. This is amazing. But that's a very short time frame.
Yeah, that's how hurricanes work. I don't know if you know this, but when I summon up a hurricane, they don't exactly listen to me for very long.
I just assumed that, you could just do it whenever you want to, and...
I mean, I can create hurricanes as often as I want. They just don't tend to like to listen for more than a couple hours.
Weather is a fickle mistress.
Don't I know it?
I appreciate you, friend. I guess I should wake my friends up and, we should get out of here. Looking at the entire, sort of observatory, map, do I see a place that is similar to our home?
Absolutely. You can chart a course there. It's largely due west of here.
And then looking at where the ship is waiting for us, would it be out of the way to go in the opposite direction?
The opposite direction, yes. A perpendicular direction, no. So if home is due west, the ship that you are trying to avoid is largely due south.
All right, 20 minutes is incredibly, we have to get the hang up, and he's just going through his mind of everything that he has to do while he's pacing with the child and just kind of that having a stressful time.
A claw thumps onto your head, and Aki spins you around, and you see the hollows of his skull eyes. I can give you a tailwind, but then you and me, we're settled. You understand? I don't need mortals with debts on me fucking about out there in the world. I got enough stress as it is. I don't need that headache.
You just want to end our relationship just like that, yeah? We're just getting to know each other. Nah, of course.
Yes, mortals and their sense of humor. I don't want to have to release another goddamned hurricane out into the world. I appreciate that you were in a sticky situation. I appreciate that you saved this island from the marauders at least once. Keep this place a secret. We'll consider ourselves square. You get through the hurricane, I'll give you a tailwind.
Sounds like parlay I can work with.
I think at this point, the other two start to kind of rouse.
There was a kid here.
Is she gone?
She's gone, but her blanket is also gone, so I'm assuming Kine took her.
Well, if Kine's gone too, I think that's reasonable. Let's hope that he took her and he didn't wake up first and notice she was gone and then go running. He would have woken us up, though.
He would have woken us up.
All right, well, then I guess we wait. Marv, how are you feeling? Ever since we've been sailing together, you've always been one for your books and your maps and your secrets, and this is an uncharted island. I don't know. Maybe that's a normal thing to find. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to assume. Is this a big deal?
Islands form and disappear quite often, usually by volcanic activity or some sort of magical effect, but yes, it is nice to find something and put it on the chart. I am quite happy about that.
Do you get to name it?
We would get to name it, but I believe somebody else has already inhabited it and might have named it. unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, if they don't care about what other people call it on the map, you could still name it. They could call it whatever they want. It doesn't necessarily mean it's written down for the greater world.
That's more true than you know. Most things in this world have more than one name. Most places, rivers, mountains. There's the name that it's commonly known by, usually by academics, the one that gets written down in books. There's often a second name. A name from the people who first came to know it.
Do you think it's more important to call it by that name or to almost protect that name? Keep it from... I don't know, is that... I'm sorry, I've been spending too much time with Balm, but I can't get out of this headspace of the give and take of, well, everything. And I don't know, I guess part of me almost thinks that you want to keep your name for those that you really only want to know it. Is that a crazy person thought? Am I becoming a crazy person, Marv?
Not at all. You are a cautious person, and I think you're right to want to protect your name. There's power in it. It's a gift, and not one that should be given out freely.
Why are we here for a baby?
Now
What's
that
going
is a
on
good
now?
question.
We're supposed to be swinging off ropes and stabbing stuff and collecting shiny things, not...
I thought we'd be getting, like a chest of gold.
Yeah, or like maybe a secret artifact, or maybe some book full of secrets. I don't know.
A book full of secrets. I did get my book full of secrets. That's treating me quite nicely.
Okay, well that's
But
good.
no, I don't know why we picked up a crate full of baby.
Something is wrong. This is... I don't know. My everything... I feel like I'm in a constant state of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I feel your anxiety. It's not often that we carry a person. Usually, if we were going to take someone someplace, they would ask us to do that and then pay us at the end. This... a rescue? Or a transport? A refugee situation is not normal for us.
I'm going to take the incense thing with Balm on it. I don't know if Balm will hear this or not, but I'm going to just try to put Balm away for a second. And I'm going to get very close to Marv. What if it's not a rescue? What if it's like a sacrifice or an offering? Like, what if we're doing something really terrible?
I would like to believe that we wouldn't be tasked to do something terrible by a sister of the Sapphire Sun. However, if it is something like that, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Our ship is fast. There are options.
Our ship is fast, but fate is a good hunter,
That's a good one. I'm going to write that down.
All right, everybody. Up and at 'em.
Oh, our host. Thank you for the food. It was...
Yeah, you're going to want to see a doctor. Not 100% sure how that interacts with mortals.
Do I recognize this person?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Blusterer. This is the god of the winds.
Oh, then I will give a little head nod and say, it is a pleasure to meet you. Aklenekthar Cthulhu.
I'm honestly impressed you got that right.
I've read a lot about you and written your name a couple dozen times. I'm very familiar with the trickier spelling in both Imperial and Common.
Aki, this was the friend that I wanted to get to see the thing before you kicked us out.
Listen, I'm not kicking you out so much as y'all have 20 minutes before the hurricane gets away from me. 18 minutes.
I think Kind would take Marv aside as they're heading back to the ship. Hey, Marv, can I get a second with you?
Of course. What seems to be bothering you?
Aki over there, he has some requirements that he wishes when it comes to his establishment. And I know you're a big fan of mapping things out and making sure the world learns what it needs to learn about where we live and whatnot, but he's more of a secluded, isolated type and doesn't like visitors most of the time. you're my best friend, so I just wanted you to know that the choice is always yours. You don't have to follow it, but they would appreciate it if you kept this one to yourself.
I see.
I'm gonna be on your side, whatever choice you make, but
That is difficult, but for the sake of not offending the god of the winds, I suppose we could leave this uncharted island uncharted.
and hey, consolation prize. Who's to say you can't tell the story? You just can't say where it is. And I know 3 of your biggest fans who would be happy to hear you talk about the crazy skull god that lets you eat their possibly deadly food.
That is a very enticing consolation prize. Thank you. I'll just give you like a big ol' hug.
Yeah, he definitely takes the hug as well. Oh, he would definitely have asked Aki for some type of souvenir.
The kids.
Oh, you know it, man. They're always on his mind. My daughter Kelp, she's a big fan. She loves your stories.
All right. And he shuffles over to the pantry and pulls open a drawer, and it's just filled with these little crow skulls that they're not bronzed, so they're not quite as fancy as Hoagie's, but like they're in that same structural vein. And he plucks one out and he whips it over to Kind. Straight from the headquarters. Now, 15 minutes. Look at that.
All right. We get it. We need to get out of here.
I would like the both of you to take a bond with each other, please.
I'm up to 3
nice.
with Marv.
We cut. We see the 3 of you board the Lord Bethany, weigh anchor, drop the sail, and the blusterer pulls back and begins to channel his magic into a gust of wind that sends you flying westward from this island into the hurricane. And all 3 of you are on deck. When you approach, you hear and see that the wind is moving clockwise again in this massive, turbulent, endless cycle. We are going to enter ship's moves. Do you all have a particular tactic that you want to take here?
I think take it head on works best for us and makes the most sense. We're not going somewhere unfamiliar. We're not really. Or my conception here is that we are just sort of with Aki's wind at our back, trying to just take advantage of that to punch through.
Could I get someone to please roll me 2d6 plus steadfast plus 1?
We should have let someone else roll. That is a gentlemanly 4.
Oof.
Incredible. We'll go ahead and mark experience.
Oh, nice.
The ship sets a course straight for the hurricane. The winds pick up. Thunder, lightning, crashing all around you. But you're making it through. Aki's wind keeping you going. And then, all of a sudden, something holds you back. Who's at the rudder?
I'm at the rudder. Okay, here we
Alright.
go. What kind of roll we doing?
I need you to please roll stand your ground against the curse of the food that you ate.
Do I see this? Do I see him getting weak?
Is this divine food poisoning?
Is it bad that I want to roll low? Oh,
Keep in
God.
mind, you can roll higher. You can roll higher here by sacrificing bond.
Any bond?
Actually, yes. And if the person that you're using is near you, you get an additional +1.
All right, I'll take Adrian. That is an 8. I think I'll just take it. I'll take the partial success. Yeah. So I will think back to the moment where I stopped hearing Adrian's voice and start like really sort of almost like remembering it like I'm seeing it for the first time. the little wisp of shadow of Balm shoving him off the water so playfully into like just the abyss of the infinite sea. I will try to draw on that and almost like I'm apologizing to him in my head, even though I know it doesn't really mean anything. So I'll do that.
You have an option here. You can either succumb to the curse, or you could take a trouble.
Let's succumb to the curse. Curses seem more fun.
You panicking, sweating, trying to drive through this storm, feel Aiden tumble over the side, and you instinctively whip the wheel around, steering the ship toward where he would have entered the water, back toward the island from whence you came. You are going in the wrong direction, straight into the wind, and you all see lightning and two massive, glowing yellow eyes, obscured slightly by the wind and clouds.
We're going the wrong way. I don't know if you're Hoagie.
I think Hoagie just kind of is like looking just like past this storm. His just eyes are kind of like, his eyes probably look a little bit wide and mad, and I think you can almost see the smoke of Balm coming up in a way as if it's like shoulders are shrugging, as if Balm is like silently chuckling at what's happening.
I want to try to create a weather effect with my book. I want to try to just get more wind pushing on the sails going the right direction.
You tear out this piece of paper. You do your damnedest to start a quick fire on deck here. I need you to, actually, at your discretion, you can spend a bond to roll stand your ground against the curse of the food.
Okay.
Just gonna say, as you're doing your incantation, he's like, Marv, we got this. We're gonna get out of here safe and sound, all right? Just keep doing what you're doing. And then gives you a +10 on standing your ground.
+10 is a complete success. You don't even need to roll.
Perf.
You feel your mind tugging back. Why are we going through this fucking hurricane? It's going to dissipate at some point anyway. I didn't get a chance to explore that tower. What the fuck is even going on here? And then you hear kind. Focus. Be in the present. Be in the moment. Be in the present. Be in the moment. And you light this fire. The pages go up in smoke. And a push of wind starts to right your sail, and while you are kind of slamming into the waves because of how much Hoagie is trying to hold on, the wind is strong enough that Hoagie, you lose control for a second, and it starts to straighten back out, and you are now broadside to a giant maw. As the hurricane itself, massive, demonic-looking beast, puts one cloud-shaped hand down into the water, sending torrents out around it, causing your ship to toss and buck. And this giant kaiju of a hurricane creature is going to swipe at your starboard side. Your ship takes one wreck.
As I was like reciting that incantation and reaching out to the bond to try and like pull the wind our direction specifically, did I feel anything unusual coming from this like creature, like any sort of like yoke or influence that was touching it?
Yes, you do feel like it is tethered to this spiral, and that spiral is tethered to the island, but it is spider silk, right? It is literally hanging by a thread before it decides to pull off and go where it will.
I kind of want to look to Kind and say, get the cannons ready.
Right, and he'll run down to go do what Marv said. Can I argue get into a scrap if I shoot this demon hurricane with a cannon?
I think so, because I don't I don't think there's a ship move for doing damage. I think it's just your get into a scrap. Why don't you go ahead and roll get into a scrap for me?
Okay, 12.
That's very good. Chaos shouting, hands to positions. Hoagie holding to the wheel, something at the back of his mind still tugging, sending him back. Kind running along the gunner deck, lighting these fuses, burning down. You see cannonballs explode in this thing's chest and its clavicle and its jaw, and you see the defined form of this demon silhouetted in fire against the hurricane. This thing is going to take 3 harm.
Guys, we're great pirates. I just need everybody to know
Really
that.
good at this.
We're really good
I mean,
pirates.
if pirates were more about, like, specifically stealing babies, or not stealing, rescuing babies,
Wait, hold on, run that back.
specifically, we'd be the best pirates.
To be fair, we didn't steal her. We
didn't steal.
We're more of postal service for the baby.
Yeah.
We are the stork. Or what was the tail?
The stevedore.
Yeah, we're the stevedore.
Stevedore.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna deliver this
Lord.
baby come rain or sleet or hail or snow.
As these cannons go off, this thing tumbles and smacks the back of your ship. It shatters in a few places in a hail of splinters and takes 1 additional wreck, which I think puts you pretty close to being shipwrecked. Then you also are going to take the waterlogged condition as water rushes in to the back storage rooms. You are going to lose that back room, 2 cargo and 2 crew space. You see this thing kind of tumble into the ocean in what feels almost like slow motion, sending up a giant wave of water. And the sea gets a little choppier. You feel the boat start to be lifted off by the waves.
Now that we're making headway, we're going the right way, we're getting out of here. I'm going to go and just check on Saphira, and probably if the ship is taking on water anywhere near the crew spaces, I am going to probably take her up to the top, up to the poop deck.
You manage to run down the stairs. There is water kind of bleeding in from the doors to the kind of aft storage space. You punch open the door to the crew's quarters, and Saphira is being rocked by the sea. She is not making a noise. You go and you grab her, and she looks very scared.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
And you run up onto the deck, and wind, rain, thunder, lightning.
I'll grab. I have an old cloak that usually sits on a peg, and I'll just grab that and sort of drape that over us to try to keep water out of her face.
Hoagie, I think, is overwhelmed with this giant crazy thing, and not sure what to do, sort of calling out into the storm. He's going to be like, Balm! What can we do against this thing? I need your insight! We can help with that a little bit. And I'm going to use my Infernal Eye. And you guys are going to see the smoke, incense smoke kind of curl up over myself and create a larger than life third eye over my head that kind of covers my eyes. So it's sort of like a big visor almost of this big smoky eye. And I can choose one of the following truths that I see. Either the awful secret something hides, the one who's really behind it all, the hidden magic laid bare, or the hands of death and what they are clutching. I want to interpret the hands of death and what they're clutching to be like, what is the thing that is holding this thing here that could be released?
I fucking love this, because you, for the first time in your life, see a strand of bond. the creation magic that is tethering this thing to this island is also the thing that is keeping it in orbit around your ship. Sever that bond and free this hurricane to travel to where it wills. And it will probably stop being your problem pretty quickly.
And does the bond feel like it's something that we can cut with distance, or like it needs to be like cut?
Bond is a measure of connection. And so you either need to cut it magically or you need to cut it through force of will, I would say.
Okay. I'm going to shout, "There's a tether of some sort that's holding this thing here. We have to cut it."
Marv, you instantly know what that is.
I am going to try with everything I have to try and just reach out to that tether and just try to pull it like a lyre string until it snaps.
This might be Unleash a Mysterious Power, my friend. Go ahead and please roll me 2d6 plus Spitfire.
Oh, come on, big money. That's a 7.
On a hit, it does what you want, but exacts a personal cost or surges out of control. On a 7 to 9, it does both.
Fuck!
Marv, what does this look like?
I think as Marv reaches out to try to sever this bond, his sort of connection to the winds is amplified, and it's sort of like a spider web of bond begins to form between Marv, the wind, the storm at large. And I think that, like, along those pathways of bond, as he brings that spider web to intersect with the line tethering this beast, lightning begins to crackle in the clouds above and travel down those bonds.
The bond breaks. And instantly this thing tumbles into the water, emerging on the other side of your ship. It charges off in a southerly direction. Its tail smashing into the ship for one final wreck. The personal cost is the Lord Bethany.
Dang.
And we will come back to how that gets resolved in a minute, because Marv, you are too distracted to realize that this is happening. Marv, as someone who studies bonds and how stories affect them and how they connect people to a sense of place and throughout time, you are someone who understands much of how they work. But an element that you've never really considered, an element that you've had no real need to consider, is how bond affects the self. And as this bond snaps and the electricity rushes through all of the points connected to it, crackling through the hurricane and down into your outstretched arm, another bond snaps. A memory. Marv, you forget something. What was it?
That in that moment, Marv's thoughts try to trace the pathways that they normally do whenever something extraordinary happens, and he thinks back to how he got here and where he came from, and I think he thinks back to his home in Shipwreck Bay. And I think that usually when that happens, his mind traces this path back to his home, to this insignificant port town. He thinks of his father's face, of his mother's smile, of his family, of his time there, of all the lessons he learned and all of the pain he went through to finally get out of there and to convince them that he would be okay on his own. And I think that as he remembers those things, he realizes that he's looking at a stranger's face in a strange place that he doesn't recognize. And that memory fades. And I think Marv forgets the story of where he came from and who brought him into this world.
The ship is destroyed. However, you all have one final move. An important footnote on Scarper is that you can get away from any situation at any time, no matter how unlikely it is or how wrecked you are.
I'll use that. I want to do a bustling, busy port and find ourselves in danger upon arrival.
We see the camera fade to black. And then cut in. Distant, high up in a clear blue sky, looking down at what is left of the Lord Bethany. And I think that she is more than just a raft at this point, but she is in dire, dire shape. I think you're sort of stuck in the water at a bit of a jaunty angle, kind of barely scraping along the shore as the tide continuously pulls you into the mouth of a chasm. Two cliffs split at the sea, and you all find yourselves drifting into an inlet lined on both sides with buildings. And these buildings are pristine marble and red brick. Everything is polished and well cared for. First impressions matter in this town. I think this is a town that all three of you are probably familiar with, though I don't know if any of you have ever been here before. This is maybe a bit too reputable of a place. You are in Split, one of the most bustling port towns of Astilla. And a ship much larger than yours, 3 masts, probably 100 or more active crew, are pushing through this channel past you, and a wave like kind of comes up and over your deck and just splashes down over what's left of the Lord Bethany. And it makes its way in, and you see all manner of junks and ocean-going vessels and little local scuttling ships that are helping to ferry people from one place to another in this busy town.
Everybody all right?
I think so. I'll just check on Saphira under the cloak.
She stretches, yawns, grabs at any jewelry you might be wearing.
Yeah, I'll dangle the necklace a little bit to keep it just out of her reach. We're all good. Well, almost all.
Hopefully we can find somebody who can get us the rest of the way home, yeah? If I can, I would just wave somebody down. Hey, mind helping us get to, land, friend?
You see someone in just like a small oar-powered vessel with probably half dozen other rowers kind of look up. Who are you?
We're stranded, honestly, right now.
What's your ship's name?
Her name was the Lord Bethany. We're just trying to get to land and then work our way home, friend.
Yeah. What's that, old friend? And he sits back down in the boat, has a quick conversation with the other people, stands back up and says, "Yeah, we'll pull you to shore. Free of charge on this one." And he throws you a row.
As we're making our way, as a reaction to me using that infernal eye, I have vivid hallucinations that I am compelled to act foolishly in response to.
That's incredible. I think you are actually the last person who's left on the Lord Bethany for just a moment, right? You can decide if you disembark or not. But I think that there is a moment where you feel a hand on your shoulder. And you turn around, and it's Aiden. And Aiden says, "Well, I'm glad they got the ship in, and she's gonna get taken care of."
You're not here.
What do you mean? Of course I'm here. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, are you going to be coming with us then?
Nah. I can't leave the ship. It's captain's orders.
Okay. Do you want us to bring anything for you?
I'm pretty thirsty.
Okay, we'll see if we can get some good drink. Keep an eye on the ship, yeah?
Yeah. I can do that.
You sure you're all right?
And when you turn around, he's gone.
I'm going to sort of like shake that off for a second and then go catch up with the group.
When you all make it to shore, you are told to wait while they finish pulling in the ship. And you do, and you are provided with modest food and drink for your troubles. You are set up on a little dockside bench. You see that this is probably one of the most modern towns that any of you have been to. Everything seems very architecturally stable. There's a level of intentionality to sort of everything that's happening here. There's an order to this bustling market bazaar that lines the docks that just is staggering in comparison to the chaos of Mare Sanctorum, even at its best of times. Everyone seems to be behaving in a predictable sort of way, and no one seems to pay any mind when a group of wardens descends to the docks. And one, a woman with sort of close cropped blonde hair, wearing gleaming brass armor, walks up to the three of you and says, "By the order of the Lord Governor's Kawa, the three of you are under arrest."